Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this epic end of month, beginning of month THORNEWS fundraiser for my rent, where I'm either going to make it again for another month or I'm going to drive my channel into the ground. So let's have fun checking out what is going on. And right now we are talking about the moon at Universe Today, which I don't know if you guys know the history. We once got all excited. We went to the moon, asterisk, and then we were like, you know what? The moon is too expensive. We're never going back again. We're not going to send rovers there ever. We're not going to put cameras on the moon. We're not going to do anything with the moon. We aren't even really going to talk about the moon much because it is too expensive. Though we're going to spend $500 billion on the International Space Station, which is really great about doing science experiments for children. And we're going to spend $15 billion in the James Webb Space Telescope, which is going to be like 15 years late and like 10,000% over budget. And then we're going to spend a lot of money looking for dark matter and trying to figure out how the universe was created because we don't believe in God anymore. What else? Oh, yeah. And then we're going to spend billions and billions and billions researching climate. Not really spend any money on the sun or volcanoes or earthquakes. So yeah, things got really weird. Oh, and then NASA was like, oh, you know what? The moon is too expensive. But you know what is cheap and very cost effective? Going to Mars. And I'm like, what? This is the dumbest shit I ever heard, man. Like, seriously, it's like, if you've never been camping before, you should just camp in your backyard before you go out to like the wild blue yonder. You know, go up to the mountains. Maybe camp in a local park before, if you're going camping with people who've never camped before going, you know, way out into the middle of the boonies where it's very dangerous. So if you can't handle hanging out on the moon, what makes you think you're going to handle hanging out on Mars, which is like 20 times farther away? Or like 1,000 times farther. I don't know, I'm bad at math. That's why my channel never really does that well. Because everybody only respects YouTubers who are really good at math. Was there a time when the moon was habitable? Who knows, man? Who knows? Also, let me say, one of the dumb things about the moon is they're like, do you guys know how the moon was formed? Like a giant asteroid hit Earth and then knocked some Earth off? Or two planets collided and shit, and then they gravity spun them into a hydrostatic equilibrium. That's how the moon was created. That's why one side has a bunch of asteroid craters and the other one doesn't. That's like the dumbest theory ever in my mind, you know? Okay. Like, how come giant asteroids aren't round then? To put it simply, I gotta give credit where credit is due. So Matt Williams over at the Universe Today, he wrote this. To put it simply, the Earth's moon is a dry, airless place where nothing lives. You know, I don't know about that. One of the crazy theories about the moon, and by the fact that we've never gone back, or the fact that we don't have a single GoPro or iPhone stuck up on the moon, or that we don't put any drones or rovers there when we got like 500 rovers on Mars. It makes everything about the moon weird. And now, just by putting this here, I'm going to have a bunch of flat earthers saying that we never went to the moon. The Earth's flat. All right. You know, and the whole point of the thing is not whether we went to the moon, man. Could you live on the moon? Anywho, one of the things that I heard was that either aliens were on the moon and were like, you guys better not come back. Or they have this little micronic dust there that's like living glass acid that eats or destroys anything that goes there. I don't know. Like I said, with never going back to the moon, you just have a bunch of questions. A bunch of weird mysteries. Or it leaves a giant gaping hole, and nature doesn't like a vacuum, so YouTube fills it with conspiracy theories. Somebody said you should slow down when you talk, so I don't know, I'm just so excited to be doing things so willy-nilly. And that's the thing is, man, I could make like 100 videos a day if I just recorded once and stopped. But I really, really like to edit, and that takes forever. But I have time to do that during these fundraisers because, like yesterday, I spent 12 hours making that edited weather video, and I didn't get any donations, where if I make 10 videos, I get a bunch of donations. You guys are weird, man. You guys are real weird. But no matter what, I love making editing videos because I'm so good at editing. I really am. And it shows. so they'll always be in the mix. To put it simply, Earth's moon is a dry, airless place where nothing lives, aside from concentrations of ice that exist in permanently shaded craters in the polar regions. And then there came out this stupid theory, that there's water on the moon, and that you can literally just plug that water that's on the moon into your spaceship and fuel it. I don't know if you remember that. So you had a bunch of corporations talking about corporations going to the moon to get the moon water, because it's not like H2O, it's like H2O times a zillion or some shit. I don't even know. Anyway, aside from concentrations of ice that exist in permanently shaded craters in the polar regions, the only water on the moon is believed to exist beneath the surface. What little atmosphere there is consists of elements released from the interior, some of which are radioactive, and helium-4 and neon, which are contributed by solar wind. However, astronomers have theorized that there may have been a time when the moon might have been inhabitable. So, where'd all the bones go? And, is there like lunar dirt? Another thing is, we've heard them say that every time a meteorite hits the moon, it rings, like the moon might be hollow. Or, there's another conspiracy theory that the evil god Lilith, well, she's not evil, but she had a son, and that dude is crazy, and he loves to torture everybody on Earth. Like Doc Savage likes to say, Canadians are evil moon people, and they are going to eat us all, and they just want to flavor our meat first with fear, because apparently our fear makes us more spicy. And evil moon aliens love spicy human meat. And, you know, if one day they are eating me, I'm going to be like, I regret making those jokes. Okay, man, I'm having fun though, driving my channel on the ground. According to a new study by an astrophysicist and an Earth and planetary scientist, the moon may have had 2 early windows from habitability in the past. These took place roughly 4 billion years ago, after the moon formed, and during the peak in lunar volcanic activity, 3.5 billion years ago. The study, which recently appeared in the journal Astrobiology under the title, "Was There an Early Habitability Window for Earth's Moon?" Habitability. I would say, if I was editing, I would edit all this shit out. But editing takes a long time. It was produced by Dick Schultz McCook and Ian Crawford. Note to self, making cheap jokes isn't funny. Don't do it. Don't demean yourself. Whereas Schultz McCook is a professor of astrophysics at Washington State University and the Technical University Berlin. Tub! Alright. Everybody loves a tub of butter. Except for anti-butter people. But those people are dumb. Yep, that's right. You heard it. I usually am open and inclusive to all people, all races, all religions, except, pedophiles, murderers, and rapists. But no, people who don't like butter, you guys are weird. Yeah, I think people who don't like butter are weird, man. Now, if you're not eating butter for health reasons or you're on a diet, that's fine. But butter is magnificent. Oh no. Wait, are vegans? Are they anti-butter? I bet they are. But if you don't milk the cow gets ornery and unhappy. Cow wants to be milked. There are a lot of jokes I can make here. I'm not going to. For the sake of their study, Schultz, McCook, and Crawford drew on the results of several recent space missions, an analysis of lunar rock and soil samples, which indicated the moon is not as dry as previously thought. Wait, I thought we talked about that 2 years ago. They also drew on recent studies of the products of lunar volcanism, which indicate that the lunar interior contains more water than previously thought, and that lunar mantle may even be as comparably water-rich as Earth's upper mantle. Yeah, but that's like saying, like Ceres, the planet Ceres. It looks just like our moon. And they're like, it's filled with water, which would mean that, like, our moon is filled with water. And I used to want to make a video that would kind of troll you guys, saying, hey, y'all, the moon is filled with water, and then everybody get mad at me. And I was trying to make a point that, why would our moon be filled with water, and why would Ceres be filled with water? But now they're saying the moon might be filled with water. So yeah, over time, and a long enough timeline, everybody borrows from me. From this, they concluded that the conditions on the lunar surface were sufficient to support simple life forms during 2 periods in the past. The moon gets PMS? That's also weird. The first was roughly 4 billion years ago, when the moon began to form from a debris disk caused by an impact by a Mars-sized object named the Theia and the Earth. See the giant impact hypothesis? That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. So a giant planet hit Earth, and then that big chunk of rock, everything formed and just smushed together to create a basketball that's now locked in Earth's rotation. I mean, science can just, that's the whole thing. They will beat you to death. If you be like, you know what, man? I think the volcanoes affect the atmosphere and the temperature in the planet. Scientists are like, no! Volcanic eruptions produce less than 1% of CO2 compared to what human beings do. And then you get like 1 million people and everybody's like, no, science is never wrong. And then they beat you to death. So nobody ever disagrees with science because they will just beat you to death with their giant mob mentality. It's kind of like when all the scientists are like, no, it's total fact, even though it's a hypothesis. The moon was formed when a planet hit Earth. You mean like Nibiru? And they're like, no, that is a total lie. No planet would ever hit Earth. You'd be like, wait, you just said the planet hit Earth, so it could definitely happen again. They're like, no, it happened once, and everyone knows that in solar physics, you can't have a planet get hit twice. So, Nibiru is fake. All right, I'm going way off the rails, but I'm having fun. Okay. So yeah, this stupid shit hypothesis happened 3.5 billion years ago, when the moon was at the peak of its volcanic activity. Was the moon like a magnet and it attracted the planet that hit the Earth? Wait. No, because the moon was part of the planet that hit the... Oh, no, I'm just confused. At both times, planetary scientists think the moon was releasing considerable amounts of superheated volatile gases from its interior. Insert fart jokes here, which would include water vapor. Although that would be a shark joke. This outgassing could have formed pools of liquid on the lunar surface and an atmosphere dense enough to keep it there for millions of years. Billions and billions and billions. You know, see, that's what I should have done. Instead of creating a YouTube channel where I pour like my whole life, heart, and mind into trying to get people to unite and give you guys information I think is good and important, to where at the end of every month I end up having to plead for money to continue to do the science that I do. I should have just gone to college instead of getting a radio. I did go to college, but I got a radio, television, and film degree. That's why I'm such a good editor. I should have become a scientist, and then I could just make shit up all the time. You know, like science can always tell us, oh, this happened. They can tell us what happened 1 billion years ago or 1 billion years in the future, but they're not very good at telling us shit that's happening now. You know? It's like you just make shit up. Like, well, you know, the planet in the asteroid belt that got hit, well, when it got smashed, Earth just captured its moon. You know, that sounds about as good as that stupid hypothesis. The early moon is also believed to have its own magnetic field. I think human beings have their own magnetic field. That's how I draw in all the pretty girls, even though I look like a fart that got captured in a jar, and my breath is even worse. Also, if your butt is itching, it's a good time to take a shower. There's no one who stayed this long, right? As Tshirts said in a recent interview with the Astrobiology magazine, if liquid water and a significant atmosphere were present on the early moon for long periods of time, we do believe the lunar surface would have been at least transiently habitable. Good times. Schultz and Crawford's work draw on data from recent space missions and analysis of lunar rock and soil samples that show the moon is more watery than scientists give it credit for. Wait, but aren't they scientists giving it credit? Now I'm confused again. Maybe I should have studied grammar and English and sentences. I would have got my PhD in sentences. These include India's first lunar mission, Chandrayaan, which created a high-resolution chemical and mineralogical map of the lunar surface in 2009. which confirmed. You just used which twice. Why are you so pro which? Which? It's a sandwich place in Texas. Which confirmed the presence of water molecules in the soil. You know, see, the Chinese are sending shit up there. The Russians are sending shit to the moon. Heck, even Elon Musk is pretending to send shit to the moon. Well, he pretends to send shit everywhere. Or he just sends it up and then lands it again. Asterisk. In that same year, NASA's Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite mission crashed a rocket stage into the Cabus crater near the moon's south pole and confirmed evidence of water in the resulting plume of debris. Oh, that's great. What a great idea. We're going to crash something there to see if it has water. And in 2013, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter created a detailed map of the southern polar region that showed abundant concentrations of water. However, additionally, ongoing examinations of the lunar rocks returned by the Apollo astronauts and studies of lunar volcanic deposits have provided strong evidence that there is a large amount of water in the lunar mantle that is thought to have been deposited very early on in the moon's formation. As for how the life got there, that remains a bit of an open question. Schultz, McCook, and Crawford believe that it may have originated much as it did on Earth. I read sentence improperly. But the more likely scenario is that it was brought from Earth by meteorites. Remember in science you say, you know how water got on Earth? Meteorites, dude. Comets brought water here. Yeah, that's a dumb theory too, guys. You guys got quite a few dumb theories that the public's just like, no, that's totally right. Whatever science says. Give it the blue check mark. And set anybody else on fire. Am I being overdramatic? Essentially, the earliest evidence for life on Earth indicates that a cyanobacteria existed on our planet 3.5 to 3.8 billion years ago. Would it be legal to have sex with a cyanobacteria? Asking for a friend. This coincides with the late heavy bombardment period, when our solar system got its ass kicked with giant meteorites. So basically, it is possible that large impacts could have blasted off pieces of the Earth's surface, which contain simple organisms like cyanobacteria, which you may or may not be able to have sex with legally. Now, as far as public shame goes, I don't know. What? Man and the cyanobacteria are both adult age and they want to fall in love, I'm okay with it. Asterisk. I may want to revisit that theory. These chunks could have then reached the moon and landed on the surface, seeding it with basic life forms that would have been capable of surviving in the lunar environment. It looks very much like the moon was habitable at this time. Could have actually been microbes thriving in water pools with their own Starbucks on the moon's surface until it became dry and dead. But the Starbucks lived on through their plastic cups, which did not degrade. Holy crap, this article's long. There are several missions that are scheduled to explore the lunar surface. These include India's Chandrayaan, a rover and sample analysis mission, and China's Chang'e 4 and Chang'e 5 rovers, which will explore the southern polar region and conduct a sample return mission. Respectively, NASA and Roscosmos also plan to send multiple missions to the moon silently, secretly, in the coming years to map its mineralogy, water deposits, and radiation moon environment. Some of these missions may be able to obtain samples from volcanic deposits that correspond to the period of heightened volcanic activity that took place 3.5 million years ago, for signs of water and biomarkers. In the meantime, experiments could be conducted on Earth or aboard the International Space Station. You're going to take away from those high school kids' experiments, man? What kind of dick are you? To simulate lunar environments to see if microorganisms can survive under the conditions that are predicted to have existed at these times. If successful, these sample return missions and experiments could indicate that the moon itself was once a habitable environment. And with the right kind of geoengineering, dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun dun dun, terraforming. Maybe it could be habitable again someday. All right. So that was brought to us by Matt Williams. That dude is a curator of University Today's Guide to Science. And he also does Taekwondo, so don't mess with him. Plus, he lives in Canada, so he could be a moon Nazi that's coming to eat you after you've been seasoned properly with fear. And so if you love these end of the month THORNEWS fundraiser casts where I just go crazy, plus all the fantastic, excellent information that I provide the rest of the month, I'm not nagging and pestering y'all about money, be sure, because my PayPal link, and send a donation to keep me up and running, because I got less than 20 hours to make rent tomorrow, the 3rd at 5 p.m. Last time I checked, I was about 180 short. I'm not going to be checking till tomorrow about noon, so I don't get discouraged or too excited. Okay, I love you. Thank you. There's no way you made it this far, right? Did you make it this far? How about this? If you made it this far, tell me your favorite dessert in the comments section. Although, then other people know you made it that far. No, they won't, because they won't know what you're talking about. If you're just like, cheesecake, you know, or maybe they'll think you're calling me cheesecake. Okay, now I'm going crazy. Stay cool.